Fun.
What's this $50,700?
Yeah, how much all of this is?
Where are we at right now?
This is the 12 deal.
This?
Oh, no, that's everything.
You have both of them done?
This is the regular one in there.
Well, that's good. No complications in the process. Really?
Make
Good.
sure I was
Oh, the insurance annual?
I see the check.
With the new garage.
Oh, you just signed the bill. Go check them.
Fire alarm. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
I reckon. Chewing up my Tums here. Tums?
I think the fireball's got a little fire to it.
Is it good? And usually we'll have to take Tums till after the meeting. He's doing about it all day, huh? Yeah. You bet. Oh, well, I guess we'll start. I hereby call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Edina for the month of March 2016. If you'll all bear with me, we'll start with the invocation. Oh, gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for our nice little town on the hill and all the fine people who make up that town. If we could, Lord, and also I'd like to thank you for allowing us to live in the greatest land in the world with the religious freedom and all the freedoms that we take for granted every day. And now, Lord, we ask you, if you would, to please look over the good citizens of Edina and please lighten their burdens. Please also look after the employees of the city as they go about their day-to-day operations, and please keep all our employees safe. Also, if you would, look in on your elected and appointed officials and give them the courage and the vision and the perseverance to do things as you would have them done, Lord. We ask this in Christ's name, amen. Amen. Well, since Renee's not here, Delmer, if you'd lead us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, do we have minutes of prior meetings that we need to address?
Yes, February 8th, 2016, the Board of Aldermen met in regular session with Mayor Strickler presiding. Alderman present, Renee Edwards, Ron Stansberry, Rick Winter, Dot Fricksizer, Delmer Strange, and Ron Leckby. Absent, none. Mayor Strickler called the meeting to order and gave the invocation. The Pledge of Allegiance was led by Renee Edwards. Minutes of the January 11th meeting were read and approved. Collectors and treasurers' reports were given. Peggy Collins, City Treasurer, met with the board. She presented and reviewed the estimated change in fund balances for the 2016 budget following the inclusion of the December receipts and disbursements. Motion was made by Ron Stansberry and seconded by Delmer Strange to pay all bills as presented. Motion carried unanimously. Under citizen comments, Echo Menges informed the board that the Knox County Local Emergency Planning Committee will be sponsoring the annual tabletop exercise on Saturday, February 20th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Knights of Columbus Hall. She suggested that the city send a representative for this large-scale emergency planning exercise. Wendell Doss, representing the local VFW, spoke to the board about the trash charge on their water bill. He said the dumpster was removed when they closed the business, but there was still a trash charge on their bill. He requested that this be removed since they are a not-for-profit organization and only have a couple of meetings each month at their facility. Motion was made by Delmer Strange and seconded by Ron Stansberry to take the trash charge off of the VFW account. Motion carried unanimously. Mark Ross of Klingner & Associates met with the board. He said an adjusting ring in the manholes has caused some problems. The contractor will correct these issues. Mark also said he will be contacting a property owner on Fulton Street in regard to an easement. Ross presented pay requests for the contractors and the following action was taken. Motion was made by Renee Edwards and seconded by Delmer Strange to approve the Willis Brothers pay request number 7 in the amount of $49,788. Motion carried unanimously. Motion was made by Ron Stansberry and seconded by Renee Edwards to approve the Keokuk contractors pay request number 4 in the amount of $126,610.20. Motion carried unanimously. Mark explained in detail change order number 1 that will be needed at the wastewater treatment plant. This will increase the contract with Keokuk contractors by $9,818. Motion was made by Delmer Strange and seconded by Ron Stansberry to approve change order number 1 for the sewer project. Motion carried unanimously. Motion was made by Renee Edwards and seconded by Dot Kriegsizer to approve the Klingner & Associates pay request in the amount of $11,843.58. Motion carried unanimously. Mark stated that the estimate of funds to be requested from USDA Rural Development is $188,241.78. Motion was made by Ron Stansberry and seconded by Rick Winter to approve the estimate of funds recommended by Mark Ross. Motion carried unanimously. Ross also updated the board on the Purcell Street sewer project. He said the city attorney has drafted the easements and they are ready for signatures. Mark said it was brought to his attention that the owners of the farm shop have requested that the water line to their newest building be relocated because they have a problem with it freezing and that they be allowed to hook on to the city sewer. These items would be in exchange for the easement the city needs for the Purcell Street sewer project. Motion was made by Ron Leckby and seconded by Ron Stansberry for the city to relocate the water service for the farm shop by July 1st and to allow the farm shop to hook onto the city sewer at their expense. Motion carried unanimously. Under department reports, Ty Parrish, utility supervisor, met with the board. He reported that snow removal went well for the one snow that they have had to deal with. He also noted that he has placed an order for tubes and that the trash truck required some extra repairs and maintenance during the last month. Mayor Strickler said that Mike Wright contacted him and said he would be unable to attend the meeting and give his report. Kelly Hayes, chief of police, met with the board. He reported that the new truck for his department has been ordered and delivery is expected in 6 to 8 weeks. And there was no unfinished business. And under new business, the board considered an application for a building permit submitted by Teresa Carhoff Mason to build a garage/workshop 20 by 24 at 506 East Marion Street. Motion was made by Delmer Strange and seconded by Renee Edwards to approve building permit for Teresa Carhoff Mason to build a garage workshop at 506 East Marion Street. Motion carried. Ayes were Renee, Rick Winter, Dot Kriegsizer, Delmer Strange, and Ron Leckby. No nays, 1 abstention, Ron Stansberry. Under Alderman comments, there were none. The motion was made by Rick Winter and seconded by Dot to adjourn. Motion carried. The meeting was adjourned.
Well, that's pretty much the way I remember it, except Wendell Doss was actually Virgil Doss.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever I asked, see, I did not know him, and I thought I asked you. But
Well, if you asked me, then I was a big fat liar.
okay, well, I will correct that.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't know him, and his name was not mentioned at the meeting, and okay,
Well, sorry about that.
okay.
I'll take the hit on that one. Are there any other additions or corrections? There being none, then we'll just consider those minutes approved by consensus. Oh, let's see. How is the collector?
Good.
What do you have for us?
Collections for February. Water total, $22,069.81. Sewer total, $26,472.32. Sanitation total, $14,519.89. General fund total, $9,352.12. Recreation total, $272.80. Street total, $1,326.16. Special lights total, $436.81. Meter deposit total, $640. Reserve and improvement fund total, 0, with a grand total collected, $75,089.91.
Thank you.
We didn't have any shut-offs this time.
Good. Any questions for the city collector? Thank you very much, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Now the city treasurer. How are you this evening?
Very well, thank you. I really don't have much for you this time. It looks good. What came in was more than what went out, so that's always good.
It's always a good month.
Margaret did catch one thing that I had in the budget in the wrong place. Need to move, and I had capital outlay of $750 in the water fund, that should have been in the sewer fund. And I think we'll be approving a bill for that tonight, so if we could amend the budget to take it out of the 10, 20, 5750
Right.
and put it in the 10, 30, 5750, I would appreciate that. Correct my hair.
750,000.
No, just $750.
Oh, okay.
Simple. So,
Well,
other
the-
than that, if you don't have questions, I'll let you keep moving.
Okay, well, you've heard the recommendation of the city treasurer. Is there a motion to move the $750?
Make the motion of fixed error.
Thank you very much. Mr. Stansberry, thank you. Mr. Winter, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, same sign. Madam Clerk,
No
5
questions?
ayes, no nays,
How's
no
the retirement
abstentions.
going?
Yeah.
Busier than if he's working, huh?
I didn't quite retire, so
No,
I'm still working
God.
long hours.
You are?
Yeah.
You got him working now too?
He's working just as much. He transitioned, but he's,
That's what I figured.
so far we haven't gotten there. We'll work on it.
Tell him hey for me.
I'll do that.
Now it's time for item 7, the monthly bills. Ronnie still has a few left to look at there. We'll give him a minute or two to do that.
Can go fast.
I guess for those of you who didn't hear, Renee isn't with us tonight because she's not feeling well. She's under the weather. I talked to her today and I can barely understand her. She sounded terrible, so I hope she gets to feeling better real soon. I don't know that I ever remember her missing a meeting. As long as I've known her, she's been very good at attending. At the council, generally, everybody's good about attending. And speaking of that, we need to talk, I guess, about the Clarence Cannon Wholesale Water Commission. They had their annual report thing. And I was looking through it and I noticed that our alternate is, Alan Ives is still our alternate to the Clarence Cannon. So for next month's meeting, since it falls after the election and after the city council meeting, we need to have a new designated person, since I'm the designated person to go to the meeting down there. And then we also need to have a different alternate. And I'll make my speech now that whoever wins, you know, if the mayor wants to continue to do that or delegate it to somebody, we really need somebody down there to represent us. I mean, it's our water system just as much. Even though we get this much and places like Thomas Hill get this much, we get the same vote as Thomas Hill does, or Macon, or some of these big consumers. We get the same vote. They need to be down there, and it's a really good group, and they're easy to deal with, but we've got to take care of our water. So that's my speech. That's my soapbox on that. Somebody's got to go, because a lot of times I'll go down, and since I've got the furthest to go, it seems like I'm the last one that comes in. They say, thank goodness you made the quorum.
Yeah.
Although sometimes we don't have a quorum, and there's some towns that never go, and I can't understand why did you never go. You need to know where your water's coming from and what
Changes are.
Yeah, what the excitement is.
When are the meetings, Davy?
The meetings are actually in rural Stoutsville at the Clarence Cannon Wholesale Water Commission plant.
Well, are they Wednesdays?
They are Wednesdays, the second Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock usually. Okay, everybody's had a chance to look at the bills. Well, I would entertain a motion to pay the bills. Thank you, Mr. Strange. Motion to pay. Mr. Stansberry, thank you very much. There's a second. All those in favor of paying the bills, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, same sign. Madam Clerk, 5 ayes, no nays, no abstentions. Let the city's good credit rating be preserved. Let's see. Next we have citizens' comments. I see we have a lot of citizens with us tonight. Anybody want to make a speech? Or?
I'd like to. Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan Schultz. For those of you who don't know, I know some of you do. I spoke to Officer Kelly Hayes today. He stopped by while I was outside with my dog, and he questioned the breed of my dog, and she is just a unpapered mutt. And he, since I couldn't say either way on what it was going to be, I just said that I'd come here. I live on 404 East Linville Street, behind Darrell York, and behind Co-op, if you know where, to get you into a basic idea of where I'm at.
You guys know where you're talking about?
I've got two neighbors, and well, where Ron York's at. I just spoke with both of my neighbors, and I don't know if this means anything. I doubt it does. But Darrell York's got dogs next to me, and so does Brandon Givens, and my dog has been freely interchanged with them, so that we've never had a problem with them. And Ron York has never seen my dog, and he's about 100 yards down the hill. She really just sticks in the yard and goes back towards where that old house is of Robert Ward's, and I just don't know really what, I don't really even know what to say. I'd like to show it to you, or just see of. I will do absolutely anything to make the board satisfied with anything. She's papered and shot, and insurance is not a problem, and she's been in town for right at 2 years now. And I've never had an issue. There still wasn't. Kelly just drove by and saw her, and he's doing his job. He just stopped and asked what she was, and I didn't tell him.
Well, do you have a photo of it, or?
I have it on the tape if you allow me to bring her in here.
What kind is she?
Just a mutt.
Kelly's here.
Is she a pit or what breed is she?
She looks like a pit.
Of course, that's part of what the ordinance says, anything that looks like,
Yes.
has any characteristics.
And I know that it's a 1 in a million shot, but I just here to say I'm at mercy, and she's a member of my family. I take her to work with me every day. I never leave her at home. The reason nobody's seen her is because when I leave home, she goes with me. And I just don't have anything else to say, I guess.
Margaret, isn't there a thing if you have them insured, it's okay, or?
No, we originally, when the ordinance was put into effect, ones that were here in town were grandfathered in. But then other than that, no one could ever bring one in again, or even visit in town with one. Pit bulls and Rottweilers, yeah, the ordinance only grandfathered in those that lived here at that time.
And I just like to say, I'm willing to do absolutely anything. I mean, if a pin needs to be made or such, I would just begging you.
Well, I understand that. A person gets very attached to his pet. I've got pets and I'm quite attached to mine as well.
And I guess I just wanted to show up today to say I'm a responsible owner, and she's not a vicious dog. And I take full accountability for anything will ever do.
Well, and I understand that. I feel
It's a very difficult situation.
terrible about the situation. I've known you a long time, and
Is there, have you, I know you probably got like a vet you guys use, you know, on the farm and stuff. What vet have you taken her?
She went to Linquist for the first year of her
Yeah.
life, and then I went to Acorn Valley, and
Yeah.
I have on paper that she's never been a day without medication. She wasn't late.
Does
went
either of them kind of, you know, sometimes vets can kind of like give you an idea of what they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, both of them are, on what she is, well, both of them can vouch for her animal getting along and people friendliness.
Yeah. I didn't know if there was any way to tell what kind of breed it
So we
was.
can do a DNA test.
That's what I was gonna say. The
Yeah.
last time there was an issue like this, there was another dog that looked like a pit that was over in our neighborhood when we lived over by the ball field, remember? Was it Jerry's dog that got out? And it was a member of the family, and you guys gave him some time to get a
Sure, I'll
DNA
give it back
test.
to this part pit. I mean, you know that.
I don't have any proof.
Right,
I
you
just thought-
always, I mean, the way we talked today, you kinda acted like.
She looks like
You
one.
knew that she probably was, partially, yeah. I mean, you're getting into some dollars when you're talking DNA test,
Yeah.
several dollars.
If it would prove and allow her to be here,
Right.
I would have no problem with paying.
But you may spend the same money and find out that you
Find out
can't
that she,
too, so.
find out that she
so
is,
I don't know if that's gonna, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if that's gonna help you, is what I'm saying.
yeah. 'Cause this is, I don't know, really, I guess my main request would it be okay with you guys if I had her in town for the next month and gave you guys a moment to speak freely amongst yourselves, and I'll come to the next meeting, and we can decide for final then? And during that time, we'll see if I can, worst case scenario, find something to do with her, because this is just gonna tear me apart. Like, I'll probably move, if I can't have her, I'll move.
What,
How
how was it left and everything?
I would say that the best thing you can do is maybe see if your mom and dad can take her something, and then still let them talk about it for the month, and then come back next month talk. But to make the ordinance right, it really needs to go. See what I'm saying? For the, you know, and if they change their mind, you know, to come back and they change their mind, then, you know, but as far as the ordinance goes, it really needs to be out of town. That's, I mean, and that's what you're here for, is to ask them.
Okay, yeah,
You know, if
yeah,
you want them
yeah.
the 30 days, but I would say,
Yes.
probably not leave it for the 30 days, probably take
Okay.
it somewhere for the 30 days,
Oh, this
while they're thinking about it.
is that okay?
sure.
I guess I'm not really asking for anything right now. Would you mind if I'd still like if you saw her, if you'd see her. Can I bring her in?
Sure.
I mean, if you guys don't mind, she has never disliked a person yet, so I'm letting.
Well, I'm after a character, I mean, this dog came right up to me, I mean, it was fine.
I didn't think it was ridiculous. You know, I didn't know how you left it with him, you know.
Well, as far as the ordinance goes, yeah, and I give them something, I think most of the time you're supposed to. I said, well, let's wait, I'm was kinda not leaning on that, usually that's the end of the day.
Yeah.
I just thought we should stand for whatever they said, you know.
No people are. Or rocks. The whole time. I'm soft.
I just happened to see this
The
one
owner
out today.
is yelling in the yard.
It's down the next block.
It's still right there.
Owners always say, oh, yeah, it
Excuse me,
won't hurt
it
you.
nips at my ankle, it's gonna be a friendly nip then, or what?
Yeah, right.
Hi.
Hey,
Second letter.
This way. Resemblance here.
How's she with the mail lady?
We have Kristen Couch, and she comes up, and Kristen goes down like that and plays with her. I'd also like if you guys would speak to the trash collectors. They've seen her numerous times, and she likes both men. They smell like garbage.
Yeah.
Hi, Bobby. How are you? How are you? Wasn't too impressed with me.
You bring out the best in them.
I tend to, don't I?
Come here.
It has a beeline for me, that's a good sign.
Come here and sit down.
Pretty dog.
Stay.
Well, we'll talk
I
her.
guess this is all I've
Did you
come
pet
to
it
do.
there, Rick? Try to like it, did you pet it?
I saw your video on it too.
Yeah, if you come back, yeah, go for it.
Well,
Thank you all for your time, and
thank you
I'll
for
be
coming to
here
see us, George.
next month.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Any other citizens' comments at this point?
I think I had some, but I forgot what they were, so.
Well, as you think of them, you know, we'll let you back in the tent later on and try to please. Is there a Mr. Mark Ross of Klingner and Associates? Good evening, Mr. Ross.
Good evening.
I'm not as good as the weather, but I'm getting better.
All right, getting over the cold, huh?
Oh, no, I haven't been ill yet. Weather's hard to beat.
Okay, talk about the sewer project a little bit. Danny Lake's crew, working for Willis, is back in town this week doing some concrete work on the last 5 runs of sewer main that they needed to fix the street on. If the weather stays suitable like it is, they'll probably go ahead and work in some yards and things like that too, and start some of the cleanup work. If it gets wet again, we'll have to wait for drier weather. So they're pretty much wrapping up on things. The lining crew, Municipal Pipe Tool, they have had a subcontractor doing cleaning and pre-inspection, televising the line, that type of stuff, back in, well, toward the end of last year and then early this year, and then they were out of town for a while. They're supposed to be back this week doing the rest of their work. They have about 5,000 feet of line to televise and clean for prep work for the lining. Where we're at on that contract is that they're behind schedule. The lining contract is supposed to be complete by this Friday, the 18th. And so I sent an email notice out to them, and I copied mayor and clerk and your city attorney on the status of the contract and the fact that they haven't completed any lining yet. We did not have a definite schedule, and the purpose of my email was to get their attention, but also advise them of where they are on their contract and what remedies the city has at their disposal. Basically, we've asked for a definitive schedule. I did get that emailed to me about 6:30 this evening. So obviously I couldn't print that out for you, but I did talk to the project manager on that today. I had a couple calls with him today. So my email did get their attention. They will be back I mentioned they'll be back cleaning sewers this week, the rest of those, and then they plan to have they've got about, a dozen or so point repairs, what we call point repairs, where they gotta fix a specific spot in a line before they can line through it. It's too bad it's in poor enough shape in that just one location in the line that they can't run their lining through it. I believe they're planning to mobilize that contractor next week and start that work, and so there'll be a dozen or so spot places in town where they'll dig up. Of course, they have to repair it, and repair the street back. Lining crew is supposed to be here the first part of April, according to that schedule, and it'll take about 5-6 weeks. So they are behind. Of course, the city, we do have a penalty clause in the contract, which can be invoked if that's what the city chooses to do. It's $500 a day. At this time, what I'm recommending we do is let's see if they stick to their schedule. They've not asked for a time extension, and so technically their contract will expire without them being complete. However, I will ask for them to request an extension, and we'll set a date that corresponds to their schedule. And what I'd like to do is just have that in hand and then see if they stick to their schedule. And if they would not stick to their schedule, then I think we need to talk about the penalties and things with your city attorney and that process. Liquidated damages is not a given. It's up to you guys to whether you enforce them, but generally you like to have some type of backing behind it that you've been damaged in some way, although you don't have to. So, my purpose was to get their attention. I think I've got their attention, and we'll see how they follow through. Anybody have any questions on that or disagree with that thought process? I'm not out to unduly penalize people, but I do want them to get their work done, and I want a definitive schedule so that we know when they are gonna be done, so we can start enjoying the benefits of what we're paying for. So,
I think you're on a very prudent course of action.
we've not paid them anything to date that I'm aware of, so it's not really an issue of them being paid for something they haven't done. It's just an issue of they haven't done it yet, so.
Well, no, it's not like we've gotta close down our hot dog stand for the next month until they get going. We're losing all the revenue from our hot dog stand or something. We're not really out anything, like you said.
Well, they indicated to me that they had some personnel changeover, and then I think they had some, they thought they had a little bit of delay on some of the manholes that we used to have lamp holes or no manhole at all at the end of lines, and they were waiting on those to be completed, but most of those were done last fall. And the lining process is one that you can do in the wintertime. You want the material kept cool while you're dragging it into the sewer line, but then they will put steam pressure to it to heat it up and actually cure it out. So, the wintertime is not really an issue. So, no, I didn't get any clear reason, but I did put in my email, I said, just because you were delayed on other projects is not a reason enough for a time extension. So, I don't know, but we'll find out exactly what the delay is.
I don't know how the contract reads, but I think if we are going to extend it, then that needs to be in writing before the contract is up.
Yeah.
And we need to have a new contract drawn up for that extension, and then with the same, circumstances put in writing.
Right. Well, now that I have a schedule, we will ask for the time extension request.
With that schedule.
And as long as they get that to me before Friday, we can't approve it tonight.
Yeah.
At least we'll have it, and then we'll carry it over to the next. If they would fail to do the project at all for some, we have their bond. We can pull their bond, so I'm not worried about that. They've indicated they still want to do the project.
Well, good.
And
We still want them to do the project.
When were they supposed to be done with it, Mark?
they're supposed to be done Friday. Not gonna happen when you have 17,000 feet of pipe to line. So,
Was that the city's fault that they don't have that done, or is it?
that's not the city's fault.
So I don't see why we're even just going through with this. Why don't we just penalize them like you should?
That's up to you guys. I think,
Well, like I say, it's not like we're actually losing something that we can point to when we ask for liquidated damages.
My
It costs
opinion-
us so many dollars per day, cause they're.
my opinion is let's see if they will jump through the hoops. If they miss one
Yeah,
hoop,
let's get them back.
then we're still gonna, you don't lose the right to do this.
Right.
The liquidated damages days starts after Friday, and it's calendar days. So we track those. So at any time, we can still invoke that damages clause. So you're not forfeiting that right to do it, but at this point, I think we're more interested in making sure the project gets done in a timely manner than we are in penalizing somebody and maybe potentially creating a problem with them getting it completed. You have to weigh that. So,
I like your idea, let's proceed that way.
so I mean, I'm not trying not to be tough on somebody, but we haven't given away anything yet. So you still can do liquidated damages,
Okay, good.
which is why
Eric might want to.
which is why I want to delay approving any extension, because they're still under contract, even though their contract date is done, the contract doesn't expire to the point that they're not still responsible for the work. So,
You have a question?
One more
Eric?
question, Mark. If they're gonna be doing still cleaning out, do you think maybe we should do like a watch for toilet geysers, like keep the lid down?
yeah, that would be this week.
This coming week?
This week we're in. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like keep the lid down. I mean, I've heard some pretty interesting
Yeah.
stories of.
It all depends on personal houses, you know, each house plumbing, whether there's an issue or not with that, so. Yeah, I mean, I would just say, if you wanna make sure your residents are aware they're in town, just let them know that this week and next, and you've got it covered, so.
Keep the lid down.
Everybody keep your toilet lids down.
Keep your toilet lid down.
Mine's rented.
The venting is a good thing.
Did you hear?
That is ideal.
So, we'll keep an eye on that contract, and if, like I said, if they at any point in time start dragging, you know, we'll just go ahead and say, yeah, here's your damages, and we're gonna calculate them anyway, so. Whether you choose at some point,
Now, when do they think that they're
enforce
gonna
it or
be
not.
done with what they sent you?
I gotta
Or
look
did
at the
they-
whole schedule again, I just got it, it's so small I can't even see it on my phone. So, I gotta look at that tomorrow, when I get it, but I believe May timeframe.
So another
Okay.
2 months out.
Yeah.
6 weeks from the beginning of April.
Yeah, so, we can talk about liquidated damages at some point, you have not forfeited your right on any of that yet, so I just wanna make sure you're clear on that. The manhole people have fixed all of their issues and that we talked about, it was in the minutes of the last meeting, we had some manhole issues out in MoDOT right away, that's all taken care of. And they've been working on lining manholes in town, and I know I talked to Mike today, and he said he's saw a noticeable difference in the last rain and how much flow he got to town. It was a lot less than what he's been seeing down at the plant, so.
Good.
I think we're making some headway there. They're still, they may be close to being wrapped up on their lining. I gotta touch base with them tomorrow. I don't believe they were in town till maybe this afternoon today, so, this may be their last week on it. Keokuk contractors down at the, plant, the screen's in, we have startup on the controls this week, starting tomorrow, they'll finish working on that. And, the controls should be operational probably by Thursday, end of Thursday. And then, there's some miscellaneous, just what we call punch list items to clean up, and a couple little things here or there that they need to correct. Minor stuff, but everything's operational and being used down there except the controls right now, and that'll be done Thursday, so. The lift stations are also ready, they'll be programmed next week, is my understanding, next week, yeah. where they'll start calling with alarms if they have that type of stuff,
Good.
so. So that's pretty close to wrapping up. Let's see, any questions on that before we go through some of the paperwork items?
Not for me. Anybody?
Okay.
Proceed.
We have, pay request number 5 from Keystone Contractors for $20,725.20.
What was that again? 20?
$20,725.20.
Chair would entertain a motion to pay.
Are they getting close to being done then?
Yeah, they're real close. You gotta be a light month
Who's
on
that,
bills.
contractors?
Yes.
Thank you. Was there a motion or a second there, Mr. Winter? Thank you, Mr. Winter. All those in favor of paying contractors, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Abstaining, same sign. Madam Clerk, 5 ayes, no nays, no abstentions.
Okay.
Who's next?
The next item, one of the things that Mike wanted to add down there, which is a real reasonable cost, is to be able to operate either one of his rotors through the SCADA system, where he can turn one off or turn one on or whatever, and monitor his air that way. And so I requested Kika Contractors to give us a pricing for that, and they came back with $320. And so I thought that was really reasonable for what we're gonna do, and so we have the funds and more than sufficient funds to do that, so I wanted to change order number 2 for $320 for approval of Kika Contractors.
Well, the chair would entertain a motion to.
Make a motion to pay the.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Mr. Winter. Thank you, Mr. Stansberry, for that second.
Sounds like
Any discussion on that?
a good thing to have.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. He'd be on the beach in Florida and turn on his rotor.
George Pumps.
I like it. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, same sign. Madam Clerk, change order number 2 is approved.
Okay, and then we have the Klingner bill for $4,449.80 for construction admin observation.
Well, thank you, Ms. Krixizer, and that was a second, Mr.
I'll
Stansberry.
second.
Well, thank you very much. Any discussion? Since there's no discussion, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, same sign. Madam Clerk, 5 ayes, no nays, no abstentions. Let the engineers be paid.
Okay, we had a resident that's over there, can't remember the address on that now. You've got my, Hagerla.
Street.
Hagerly? Yeah, Hagerly.
Hagerly.
Yeah.
Okay.
He, when we were going through that area, with sewer lines, we did the house north of him, crossed under the highway. We had a section of sewer main that we changed over there, on Highway 15. And we took the house north to him because we saw that when we were doing the reviewing the camera work. We saw that his service went in. Well, we didn't see his, and I guess when they came back through, we did the pre-inspection video, or we're going down through there, they found that service, and it went out to the highway, under the highway, and over to this line. Well, I think that he was either in the process of trying to change what he was doing with the sewer, or had a problem with the sewer, and he went to the south out into the street, and which actually is better, because if we'd have replaced his clear under the highway like we did the other one, it would cost more money. He wanted to request and see whether we could get that cost covered on the project. And my opinion is we should, because had we known it was there, we would have probably replaced it under the highway for more money, and actually he's got a better situation. we're out in the street, not under the highway with this service. So, I guess he had a contractor do it and then he had a digging permit or something,
Permit from the city.
which was the total was 1936.07. And I believe the one to the north cost over $3,000. So actually, in the end, the city's actually saving money out of this. And so my recommendation was to go ahead and request reimbursement back through the project on this estimate of funds, so that that money will come to you guys, and then you just basically reimburse him back for that.
The house south of him, where does that line go to?
The house south of him is a street. It goes out into the street. The next house south, I believe.
The next house, yeah.
Yeah, it goes out into the street.
It goes
doesn't
out
go-
to
it
the
doesn't
street.
go to the highway.
Okay.
We didn't have that option with the house to the north, so. I've done this before. USDA usually doesn't have any issues with doing that. I told, I think the city's told the landowner that we would ask. If it doesn't come back, I guess he doesn't get reimbursed, but if it does, then.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, it in the end, it ends up saving everybody money for what would have been done,
I'm all for that.
so.
Well, the chair would entertain a motion to ask USDA to approve that. Is that the way to word that?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Strange. Is there a second to that motion? Thank you, Ms. Kritzheiser. Is there any further discussion on it? Yes, that was a second.
It was a second.
Couldn't you tell from your
For the,
body
the two
language?
hands that went.
Recorded in a second.
Any further discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions, same sign. Madam Clerk, that motion is approved also.
So including all those items, the total estimate of funds is $27,111.07. We need an order from USDA to pay those items. We need approval on that. It's a light bill month.
Yes, very light. Is there a motion? Thank you, Mr. Stansberry. A motion to ask USDA for $27,111.07. A second? Thank you, Mr. Winter. Any discussion? Since there's no further discussion, all those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, same sign. Madam Clerk, I count 5 ayes, no nays, no abstentions. Next item.
Fulton Avenue update. As you're aware, we have that one line in between houses that serves 2 or 3 houses that no one knew about. I think we've got potentially a solution for that without having to dig through between those 2 houses. Ty dug up the street. We've got a sewer main to the south on Clay Street. We got Fulton, then Clay's to the south, and then Baker's to the east. So we're dealing with that block right there. Well, east of Fulton Avenue on Clay Street, which is south of all of these, is a sewer main, 8-inch sewer main. And it doesn't have a manhole on the end of it. Maps show it has a lamp hole, but they weren't able to find that. So Ty dug it up and did verify it is an 8-inch pipe, and it's about 6.5 foot deep. And so I've got to go back. He just told me that tonight. I got to go back and check and make sure that our grades will work. But what we had talked about doing is the one house that's tied into this line, that's on the north side of that line, we could tie him into the sewer main on Fulton Avenue. Don't have to worry about him anymore. It's the house east of him over by Baker that's we've got to tie in. And there's no sewer main on Baker. So what we were looking at doing is his clean out comes out of the back of his house. And so we could come off of there, come down between the house on the corner and the guy to the west, and come down to this line on Clay Street and tie in. We'd set a manhole, which you need a manhole there anyway because we don't know where the end of the line is, and then we can tie into that. So I'm going to check the grades on that, and then I'll have to get a price on it from the contractor to do that, if that's what you want me to do, but that's basically where we're running a 4-inch service from the back of the guy's house down the sewer main, set the manhole.
What's the guess on the distance?
It's probably about 300 feet, maybe 250 feet.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's probably about the same as what it would have been the other way, only we would have one manhole and it would be 4-inch line instead of 8-inch. And we will have to have an easement from either the guy on the southeast corner of that block or the guy on the southwest corner of the block. And when I did talk to the guy on the southwest corner, he said, well, if they went back behind my house, I wouldn't have that big of a deal with it. It wouldn't be as big of a deal. There's a dog pen and there's a propane tank we have to mess back there. So anyway, I'm gonna lay it out. You know, it comes back to the question of, this line was put in by somebody before, you know, this line we found. City had no record of it. It wasn't a city line, but yet it's functioning as a city line, and yet it contributes to I&I into your system. Does the city need to be doing this at all? Well, you know, you can either take the tack that I'm gonna fix this problem, we'll make that issue go away and take care of it, or you can say, guess what, we're abandoning the line, you can make the two landowners fix it at their expense. That's up to you guys on what you wanna do.
I think we should fix it. They've both been paying their sewer, you know, as long as they've been here. They're good and faithful customers and citizens of downtown Edina. I don't see why we should penalize them when it's within our power to fix it. We've got the money to fix it that we haven't spent.
So in the future, if there was something wrong with that line, that would be a city main then?
Nope, it would be his service line.
It's just a service line, is what this is.
Be his service line, it would not be anybody else, nobody else should tap into it, it's not the city's line. So we're effectively taking about 200 feet of line we didn't know existed out of your system.
Which is good.
So.
Anytime, that
It
sounds
wasn't
like
in
an
your
excellent
system, but we
idea.
found it to be in your system.
You have done well, Mark Bruss.
So I will verify that those grades work, and then I'll get a price from the contractor, then we'll come
Okay.
back. The landowner that we're trying to hook up, change his service, will have to have an easement from one of the other two landowners. It's not a city easement, so I'm not sure how we'll handle that. Is that something you want the city attorney to prepare, or how do you wanna do that? Because it's not really the city's easement.
Yeah, well, let's find out if the grades work,
Okay.
and then we'll worry about the next step.
Okay. Alright.
But yeah, I would have no problems with having him prepare the.
We'll make sure everything works, and then if we move forward, we'll discuss
That's easy,
these.
we can just get permission from his neighbor, that'd be the best thing.
Yeah,
To the citizen, after we're done.
that's right.
Make a member of it.
I don't know what it is we're talking about, if it's oral or.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mention names.
Are we friendly folks or what?
My understanding is the guy on the corner is fairly easy to get along with, that's my understanding.
I can fill you in on it.
You think?
Yeah.
You think it'll be all right?
I would say so, but I can fill you in on it later.
Okay.
Like I said, we're just kinda waiting to see if elevation's gonna work before we even get too far
Yeah.
into the process.
Okay, anything else on that one? Okay, Purcell Street, we have the easements in hand, just unsigned. And so, the board needs to delegate that responsibility to somebody to go get the easement signed. Mayor, I know, is not gonna be mayor here after April, second meeting in April, so I don't know if he will have time to complete those in time or not, and
I have not had time, and like I said, I'm not really comfortable negotiating with my employers, for
Yeah.
one thing.
right.
I think that since, Mr. Wright was kind of around when we initiated that, he's kinda got the gift of gab. I think he would be a real good guy to get these.
He's hiding over there, I see him.
He's smiling though, is that a good sign or a bad sign?
I think he would do a good job for us. Is that something you'd do for me, Mike?
Sure.
I greatly appreciate it.
Okay. You have the easements in hand?
I have them on my desk.
Okay. All right.
I can transfer them right now in front of the camera if you'd like.
Okay, all right. All right, well, that's the only thing holding things up, so if we get those signed, I'm ready to
Well, I'm
advertise
sorry,
for bids.
I apologize
That's
for
okay.
not getting it done, but
That's okay. So,
there's a lot of things.
I think you guys pretty much authorized going out for bids as soon as we had that signed, so just keep me informed and we'll advertise it as soon as we have them in hand.
Super duper.
Maybe we can get that going before our contractor leaves town the rest of the week. You might
That
wanna
would be
bid on
nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
The easements need to be notarized at the time, don't they, or they just need to be signed?
Uh,
The last ones we did
Are
had
you
to be
notary?
notarized.
No,
do you have one in the office?
no.
Mr. Debney does.
Okay. Maybe that's the way to do it. Just get with
In
him.
the bank, I don't know who all else.
Yeah.
Or
so
others,
some people,
notaries.
the banks and.
I am, but I'd have to be up here for it when he talks to him. Okay. Yeah, they do need to be notarized.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll work it out.
okay. Any other questions for me? Sorry, I've talked like 25 minutes here, so.
I think this guy signed where I'm supposed to sign.
Yeah, there's one, yeah, just sign in the other spot.
You're just keeping it here longer.
What's that?
The guy behind you.
Okay. As far as tearing up town with construction, the worst is over.
Thank goodness.
Lining is not gonna be something that's gonna tear things up very much, so.
Yes, thank goodness.
Well, as soon as he signs those, I'll take them with me.
Well, I wanna thank you, Mr. Ross, you've done very good for us.
For a small town peon. Hopefully it hasn't been too big of a headache for you.
I've known smaller
Other
projects.
Other than traveling.
Yeah, that's not that big a deal either.
There's a couple more to the
Which state you
side.
cover?
3.
That's right.
You get a lot of miles in then, don't you?
You get something. 30,000 a year. I mainly more work in Missouri than I do Illinois. I don't like working in Illinois.
Other stuff. It's too hot for my blood. Yes. I'm underwater now.
Any more questions for Mr. Ross?
All right. I'll be back next month.
Super duper. Oh, do you need these? Do you have a test or anything?
Get the money.
Thank you very much, young man.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks.
Careful, Mark.
Oh, Brian. Is there a Mr. Ed Anderson in the house?
Yes, sir.
King Ed. You're bringing us good news, I trust.
Always news.
Oh,
I
no.
didn't hear that good word.
You have a two-sided page that's going around.
Yeah, hold yourself one.
On the side that says City of Edina, Anthem, Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the current cost for your group health plan. It's a $1,500 deductible, and it will be renewing May 1st. The plan that Anthem is offering for the renewal is slightly different, and it is at a 13.1% rate increase. The key difference is in the prescription drug benefit, and tiers 2 and 3 are increasing from what it has been in the last year by $5 on tier 2 and $10 on tier 3, which are the more expensive drugs. Everything else remains the same. If you choose to renew with the renewal plan, that will begin on the 1st of May and go for a year. I also have provided you with an option to go to a $2,500 deductible that has several differences from your current plan. It is at a 7.6% instead of the 13.1% rate increase. On the back, I have an option for you with United Healthcare. They are at lower costs for their $1,500 and $2,500 deductible plan, but there is an obvious reason for that. The coverage is lower in several areas, and I've highlighted those, and as you can see, there are a lot of highlights. My heartburn with the United Healthcare plan that is being offered is that it is a step down from your current gold plan to silver, and the two features that I find most objectionable are the next to last ones on the list: the $400 copay for radiology, CT scans, PET scans, MRI. That is included in the overall out-of-pocket, but as you can see, the overall out-of-pocket is significantly higher. And that is the reason for the lower cost. Also, the ER copay is higher, the physician copays are significantly higher, but if saving money is essential, those are reasonable coverages. And I don't know what your feeling is. I provided Peggy with a copy of this as well before she left. We have in the past planned for about a 10% raise each year. And the experience on, not on the cities, but on the group that the city falls in, has been a little more adverse than what we would have expected. So I throw that out to you. My recommendation is, if saving money is essential, like it is to all of us, then I would consider the $2,500 deductible with Blue Cross over either one of the United Healthcare plans.
Did Peggy include an increase when she budgeted?
Yes, but I can't remember how much.
Now, you've had one employee change since these rates were factored.
Right.
Brian.
So, what's the latest on Beth Schrag?
It was a submission error on the part of Northeast Missouri Health Council.
So
Beth has never been a provider for Anthem. Her supervising physician is the provider, and
so
that has changed.
in other words, nothing, and that part has changed?
Yeah, it was, what's his name? Arthur Freeland.
Oh, yes, and he's gone.
And he's gone. I think he's now in Kansas City. So there is a new supervising doctor, and I just heard the name today and it didn't sink in.
Snyder,
So the employees received this information
Snyder, you
today,
say?
I think so.
saying that, sorry, that Beth is no longer a provider.
All of our Anthem customers who use that clinic receive that letter.
Okay, so all I'm saying is, all the people that currently use that,
They may continue to.
but it's considered as a non,
No, it will be
it will be
reprocessed
reprocessed, okay.
as a network
So I
provider
should tell
primary
them
care
not to
physician.
worry then.
Correct.
And it's even backdated, I mean, it says effective December 31st.
Well, he's been gone for a while.
Oh, yes, I know.
I think so, yeah.
It is not uncommon. We have those same issues with United Healthcare on the other clinic.
I think that's our liability.
So it's a constant rumble on providers, because they just don't settle down anymore. Wasn't like Dr. Cornelius, who was here for 50 years.
That's right. Fine and gent he was.
So I'm here to answer your questions. We have a great deal of time before you have to affect a change if you decide to. The deadline for making a change for May 1st is April 15th.
This is
Yes,
cost
but I didn't
per
wanna wait.
employee,
No, that's the total cost for all employees.
Oh, okay.
And then
for all
cutting it
employees,
too close.
per month.
Yes, that's a monthly cost.
Now, we just cover one of the employees,
Yes, that's,
no family or.
right. Employees only.
Now, the options that the city has, if the rate increase is unacceptable, is not only to change to another plan that is a lower cost, but also cost share with the employees, because you're currently paying 100% of the cost. And that is unusual for this area.
Right. Cities, I've recently visited with city clerks, and cities usually pay the 100% for their employees, probably because their wages are lower.
They do?
Yes, yes, it's more common,
Among commercial employers to pay
Right.
less than 100%.
So if we go to this other plan, then that would just cost them more out of pocket when they go somewhere.
If you go to the recommended plan, the $2,500 deductible, yes, it will be more out-of-pocket expense to the employees.
Sounds
Not
right.
even that.
Because the current out-of-pocket in-network is $4,500 under the recommended plan, and it is $4,000 on the current plan and the renewal being offered. And that includes deductibles and all co-pays. And there was no change in the life rate. I also reviewed options for a self-funded plan, but those are only available at 10 employees, and currently there are 7 on the city's plan. And that would require full medical review. And I think probably for a smaller employer, it's not advisable. Concerns, questions, rocks? There is another option available to small employers, which I've discussed with you in the past. And that is to dissolve your group and put the employees in a situation of having a qualifying event or an individual health insurance policy, possibly qualifying for a subsidy depending on their household income. I will tell you that the individual programs that are available for that subsidy are not the quality of the program that you have. The network that your employees have is unparalleled in the individual marketplace. And so they are free to go anywhere in the nation and overseas. On the individual programs, with one exception, it is a strictly Missouri-based group. And if you don't use, on one of those, you are a primary care physician and a referral, you have no coverage.
Who is covered under this? Who's taking part of the, insurance? Is all of them, or?
All full-time
They don't have a
employees.
choice.
Okay.
It's all full-time
All full-time?
employees,
Okay.
right. Yes, because occasionally somebody will say, oh, I would just as soon, well, this was back when you could not have insurance, they would just as soon have the money and do whatever, but no, it's no choice, all full-time employees are covered.
And an employee who was a full-time employee who waived coverage would be ineligible for an individual policy subsidy.
Right, yeah.
So those are the options that I'm aware of. And we've only been doing this for the city for 30 years.
And health insurance is one of the best benefits that the city provides for employees.
I don't think we should raise the out-of-pocket though on.
Well, if I'm doing my math right, it's $6,668 a year is what it's gonna cost the city more. To go,
More?
to stay with the, this.
It's gonna cost that much more?
For the whole year, for everybody.
That's what the total is gonna be for the year.
No,
The difference in the total.
the difference from last year's cost to this new year. Cause it's going from 4,098 to 4,637.
And are you replacing Brian Mason?
Probably.
Don't think we will.
Well, then there's a cost savings.
We are.
We might talk about some
Basically
part-time
$500 a month.
help.
Well, we've got a closed session later on to look at candidates to replace Mr. Mason.
And the rates for that person will be dependent on their age, because the Affordable Care Act dictates that groups under 50 have age-rated bands. So, higher young.
19.
Yeah. Amen.
We who are on the other side of the bracket are very expensive.
Stop looking at me. Stop looking at me when you're saying that.
Well, my recommendation would be
Not on our
to stick with this renewal plan, the 463709, and
Because the only thing is drug tiers.
Mhm.
And if they're young, they shouldn't be taking a
Shouldn't
lot
be
of
on any
drugs,
drugs.
right?
And you don't have the option of renewing your current plan. It is not being offered in 2016. As a part of the Affordable Care Act, everything that we knew about keeping your plan changed.
Yeah, how many times did you hear that?
Yeah, well, you can keep it, but it'll just look different.
Oh, just,
It'll just cost you more.
And it will definitely cost more. And we are all in the same boat.
well, the second item here, it's not that much cheaper than the first option. And then the ones on the back side, I think we're really doing our employees a disservice if we take their maximum family out of pocket from 8,000 if we take it to 13,600.
Well, of course, you have nobody in that
yeah,
scenario.
we don't have a family.
You only have employees.
Well, that's true. That's true.
But 4,000 is still a lot of
taking
money.
the- Yeah.
Right, yeah, if you just have a little surgery of minimal type, it's gonna cost the employee, the max, I mean,
Yeah,
anything nowadays.
I know what they get paid, I know they can't afford
Yeah,
that
that's what I was
increase.
thinking, I can't afford that.
So that's my thought, is to go with option one there. But it's, unless you 5 tie, I don't get to vote.
Yeah, us five are gonna tie. Yeah, got that right.
So, you wanna discuss some more, you want a motion, you want to? Recess, do you want? Rainbows and lollipops? I don't know what that is. Hope it's not a Zika mosquito, or Zika.
Oh, yeah.
It's covered.
All right, good.
Maybe
And this is good for a year?
Rates are good for a year.
I'll make a motion to do the 463709.
Thank you, Mr. Winter. Thank you very much. Mr. Leckney, is it? Thanks, Ronnie. Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All those opposed to the motion, raise your hand. All those abstaining from the motion, raise your hand. Madam Clerk, there are 5 ayes, no nays, and no abstentions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be of service to you.
Thank you.
Ed,
King Ed?
Thank you, sir.
have a good evening.
I will, thanks. I will keep my toilet lid down always.
Please,
Thank you.
please do.
I got grandkids, that's not an issue of mine.
Mr. Parrish? How are you?
Great. This month, but I guess we did more ditching as weather permitted and as always permitted. I think we've pretty well gotten most of the streets around town, at least the real bad spots filled in, I think.
Patched.
Yeah, they're
Temporary
band-aided,
patch.
band-aided for now. So once again, keep in mind, kind of a thought process, what do you wanna do when we get ready for streets? We're in the process now of trying to get the truck out and get it running, and see what kind of things we kind of have there to deal with it on the distributor.
Good.
So we'll see where that goes. We did get our tubes in. We've got some locates called in on a few we gotta get replaced pretty quick. So that'll start here next week.
Yeah, I saw one collapsed I hadn't seen before just a couple days ago. And I should have written it down, cause I thought
Forgot
I
where
was the
the-
meeting on. And now I can't remember for the life of me where it was.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a few. Spring cleanup. I don't know if you want to set a date for that, or.
I think we
We
should.
do it in April.
We did it in April
I mean,
last
you
year.
can set it now.
Yeah, but you need to set it now.
You'll have to line it up after that.
Too late.
Got a little ditch here in the front of my house on the other side of the road, it's full of washed out gravel.
Okay.
I better request to get that cleaned out
We can do our-
sometime when you get to it.
Put that on the back burner.
Maybe put that gravel back
Oh,
up in
you
that
should do
alley
that in the
where it
fourth
came
one.
from.
Yeah, was it towards the end of April last year?
I had like the 29th or something stuck in my head, I don't remember. That may not be right.
Probably better off later in the month, I would think.
Yeah. Towards the end. Let's see.
Personally, I don't think winter's over with yet.
Supposed to be 32 by Saturday.
Really?
I remember April of '73, I'm that old.
Yeah, you're that old.
Poor old guy.
I walked to town and.
We usually do it on what,
had
a
to find
Tuesday,
that.
Wednesday?
That's what I thought, how do you work that, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Tuesday,
Yeah,
Wednesday, I think.
Wednesdays.
Well, there goes
So
everything right
where's your
there.
calendar, April, Tuesday, Wednesday, towards the end, what's it look like?
Either the 19th or
20,
the 26th.
26 and 27.
So,
Yeah, I don't
26,
know.
27, and you'll check with
Merkel's.
Merkel's.
Is that the day, 26, 27?
Any objections?
What's that, on Monday, Tuesday?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
and
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, yeah.
Super duper.
Okay. And on the note of the dumpsters, one quick deal, I guess I'm gonna run by or check see. We discussed, I think with the out of town dumpster, I think we're gonna start leaving it over at the city barn, the new city barn versus the old barn, so we can kind of monitor it a little bit, just for the fact of kind of free will right now, who comes, who goes, stickers, no stickers, you know, and we usually, like on a yearly basis, we used to just kind of check mark who comes in to make sure that they are out of town customers and things of that nature, and it'll just be a little easier to monitor. Plus, it'll be easier for us, because the dumpster can just sit there. We won't have to move it back and forth all the time. One thing we talked about, if we do that, is maybe looking at some surveillance cameras to set up at the barn. Just because there'll be more in and out traffic, people want to come down after dark, throw dumpster, throw trash in or things of that nature. So I've got some prices on some of those. If you want to see them, you can. We haven't decided on anything. Just gonna run it by you all and see, but if not, we'll go from there. But
Got any extra systems laying around back there?
we looked.
Those are all out of date.
Yeah, we looked.
We just got them last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
As long as you put a.
Is that something you
the
can
city-
lock, the dumpster?
They'll just set it on top,
Yeah.
right next to it, you know, I mean.
Throw it on the ground.
Camera's not gonna stop them either.
Right, no, but it can, it might lead you to
Right.
send them a bill.
Throw it in.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we
As
took
long
it.
as it's got a sticker on it.
It's
you can
extra,
throw in
it
there.
costs you extra.
And we get a lot of that anyway, so people can bring stuff down, but, we've got dumpsters lined up in the back, and a lot of times people pull in and just ran and throw it in the dumpster. Well, if we rent one out, we gotta get one, it's got 5 bags of trash that's been in there for a month, we didn't know was in there.
Is there a gate on the city?
No, that's something else we discussed, but it'd be a deal, we'd have to find some other post hole digger to, we talked about setting some posts on each side of the barn and hanging a cable, cause our fuel barrels running back there, which we shut them off inside on a fuse, so I mean, it's not like they can really, you'd have to siphon it or something, but we discussed that too, if we park everything in the back, just put some cables up, and then, I mean, nobody needs back there, if they do, we have a key, so that was another thing we discussed, but cameras would be nice in the fact of, like I said, if we had some, but it's not very well lit down there, so.
Kinda secluded.
Right.
You think 2 cameras is enough, or?
Yeah, 2 would be fine for us, we'd probably put one on each driveway, one that's on the
Mostly
dumpster, so like I said, if we had a problem with an abundance, say somebody come down in the middle of the night
How
and dump a
many
whole
are
truckload
there?
of trash out, we can always go back and see who was, what happened, type of thing.
Where do they have a
No one's Harbor Freight.
server or do they store off site?
Those are just kind of some general.
Those are Home Depot.
Just looking up to have an idea.
Cost options.
I don't
No,
know,
I'm
it just
relieved
like
that
beeps
the-
my cell phone.
Yeah, sky's the limit on
It's a
how we're
motion
gonna go, but these
detector.
are nothing.
Well, they can all,
You
they're
just
all
like flip it
self-contained
on
right
and
there,
see,
and
it's cool.
all together, so they all run off of one system right there together.
You can like go into it.
Get out of
I
there.
installed one for
And it'll
ours, for Dad
say
down
it.
there, and then I also installed one there
You
at,
listen.
Slevna for a
night
guy
vision.
for his
It's
semis and
bad.
stuff. And, one thing I'd suggest is make sure you get a decent camera that's night vision and,
Yeah, these, right.
because if you go cheap, you're gonna get what it is, any rainstorm, you're not gonna see nothing, you,
Right.
and,
These are
then,
night vision and motion
yeah.
activated even,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so something would have to trigger them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the motion
So
and that's how those were, that, yeah,
That
that's
was the
what,
perks of our old ones were on all the time.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
They used to be motion activated, so when they kick on.
yeah, that way that way when you do go back, you're only watching what's been recorded, you don't have to watch all the dead zone.
Right.
Yeah.
That may go in the straight catch in your neighborhood, doesn't stand just.
So what, did you look at those, what'd you think?
They're about 4.
I kinda looked them over, I didn't
I
really.
think the Harbor Freight one was the one that a lot of them's got the same,
Yeah, they just tweak them just a little bit.
Right.
Around a camera.
Give you a better I think monitor or
One
something.
of them's like 26 foot at night, and then most of them's 30. I mean, they're
You
just,
said something about maybe putting some back behind,
Is
so
that-
maybe on
do
the
we have
barrels
a-
or something too, so.
Do we have a computer in there?
there's one there, but it don't work. It has a manual off switch. It just shuts itself on and off. But these
You don't really, yeah, you don't need a computer, all it is just a monitor, is all you need.
But you could not need the monitor if you have.
That's got like a
Yeah.
little DVR thing with it.
Yeah.
It records.
You just get like a
one little
SD card, yeah, and you just plug it into your computer.
Those come,
We
yeah, they
can
come.
bring them up here more.
Right.
It has a self-contained memory of its own, plus you can add a card in there to do further, longer.
Yeah, those is, I think that has a little bitty screen on it, I mean, you
Yeah.
can bring it in here and get it on a bigger screen, but.
Just thought.
These guys go out here and shoot deer and stuff, they can get those cameras and bring them in here and strap them to a tree.
Yeah.
Just on the off season though.
See what kind of wildlife we got running around down there at City Bonnie.
And it's going today, didn't it?
Yeah, we had a birthday event with skunk today at town.
I actually have a video of it on my phone.
Great.
Can't
Well,
watch
I'm
it
seeing a
'cause
lot of them
otherwise-
laying dead on the road, there must be,
This one was about to be.
love is in the air, I think,
He wasn't
even
very
for
good.
skunk.
He was sick.
So our plan is to move the dumpster, and then if we have the problem, then get the camera.
That's up to you. I didn't think the camera would be a bad idea really anyway, because like I said, it's pretty dark down there, secluded. For no more than they cost, but it doesn't matter to me. Just be an extra way to keep an eye on stuff down that way.
Well, we got $300, that doesn't sound very, all that expensive to me for a.
And most of them are less than that, but.
Are they triggered or are they just recorded?
No, these are, triggered. Motion,
Yeah.
motion triggered. They're wireless, so there's no wires. The old ones we had, I know we had gobs of
String,
wires
wires,
strung
all
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think about it?
I think in today's world, security's a good thing. Personally.
Well, I'd say let's
They'll be
go-
known that
let's
they're
go
there,
for
and
it.
probably do more good than announce that they're there, would do more good than anything.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it and have a look at it, because we may want one for the ballpark. It's been a while since we've had anybody cutting donuts at the
Oh,
ballpark,
right,
but
yeah.
we have had problems at the ballpark before. At that price, you could afford to put a couple down in that neighborhood. Or you could just have it there and then for a week, move it someplace
Yeah.
else.
That's all I got. Unless you've got anything else.
Well, it's authorizing to get one.
Or should we wait? If you wanna get a bigger, something more, cover more cameras, can you
Yeah,
get
those
a
are all,
bigger memory drive or whatever and just
Well,
put them all
the
together?
thing is,
Or not if
not
it's
that far
wireless?
away.
No, the wireless won't work.
You'd have to have a jumper in between, they'd have to have internet, and he'd have to have internet down there to make that work.
It'd be cheaper just to go ahead and get him his own system
Yeah,
down there.
it'd be two separate
So it's the
systems.
DVR and everything.
They make them bigger, but, you know, you can have 4, 6, 8, you know,
You get
however many cameras you
$1,000,
want, yeah. But to have it at 2 different locations that far, you'd have to have internet at both locations to join them.
That's good.
well, you wanna try this at the two,
Practice run, see how it works.
authorizing to just spend up to $250 on it.
Aye.
There's a motion. Authorize Ty to pick one up to $250.
Sounds like a good idea.
And that was a second, Mr. Leckby. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, same sign.
Get the best bang for the buck.
I'll be curious to see what they look like.
I just thought of something else. On the East Avenue, I seen that culvert must be, is it a sewer project? Are they fixing that road with concrete, or are they just
I don't
sealing, you
think
know?
so. I don't think they're gonna concrete that road. But yeah, that's one of them that's gonna get, their
Yeah,
tubes
before they-
collapsing.
Yeah, before they would fix it.
Right, yeah,
I don't know what you had planned, but.
yep, that's one, probably first on the list. Of course, the rains helped that out too, by the washing out so bad.
Anything else for this young man? Thank you very much.
Thanks, bye.
Is there Mr. Wright in the house?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, Mike.
We're still fairly high just because it's been wet, but we did notice since they're starting to get some of the manholes done, this weekend it was probably just about a 30 to 40% increase instead of a 70 to 80% increase in our flow over Saturday and Sunday, and it's gone down extremely fast as far as today. Everything seemed to be
excellent.
So hopefully that's promising that we're making headway. So like you see there, we're still at 95% capacity. Hopefully we'll get back in that 65, 75% capacity once they get the lining and stuff done. Our tests and everything, we're still right where we've always been. 98% removal on both nutrients and pollutants. Our ammonia is way below our limit, and oil and grease is the same. They're gonna,
good.
yeah. Once they finish this SCADA stuff and they get their wiring done and stuff, I'd invite any of you guys to come down and take a walk. Once they get out of there, and I can kind of get the walkways scraped off with mud and stuff from our winter project and get things put back away and a few things cleaned up from having construction workers there all winter. You know, I think he said they're gonna be done, they should be done by this week, have everything done, and then give me a week or so to get everything put back in order and mopped up and stuff, and then come on down.
Okay.
And see everything. So that's all I have for you.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Cleanup was my biggest thing tonight. I guess we're gonna talk about dogs, it sounds like, so. I do have a, separate case actually going to court tomorrow on another pit bull in town, that refuses to do anything with it, so, it is going to court tomorrow, so, I mean.
I guess we'll find out how good our ordinance is.
Well, I tell everybody, you know, I don't make the rules, I just enforce them, so. But,
And we do have people, they sign when they
they
sign
sign their
up
water
for
agreement saying that
they
that they-
understand that they cannot
Yep.
have them in town.
So, and I feel for Jordan, that is, I mean, the dog seems nice, but it is definitely a pit bull to me, so, that's completely up to you guys, what you guys do with that.
And of course, he did not sign up for water, so therefore, I
Right.
don't have anything in writing from him.
Well, I think the way the ordinance reads, the citation would go to the owner of the home, or whoever
Yeah.
signed up for water, you
Right,
know.
yeah.
Hopefully, this next one actually is a new resident in town, claimed it wasn't a pit bull, and I deemed it was. So, had two of them, was willing to get rid of one, but not the other. but they are from the same litter, she told me, so. That'll go to court tomorrow, so I mean, you guys do what you wanna do on the dogs, I mean, that's what you guys are here for, so. But,
Yeah, but it's,
you want me to enforce it, I'm gonna enforce it, so.
well, and it's really not right to have
It's an
you
ordinance.
enforce it and then
Right.
let somebody come here and go.
Well, that's why I stopped today to talk to Jordan, you know, when I saw that dog, so, cause it is an ordinance and that we need to.
Well, we like you, so you can keep your pit bull.
Right,
Yeah, that's
right, I mean, I feel for him, cause I think it's a big member of his family, but unfortunately, it's a rule, it's a law here in town, so. Cleanup, like I said, was the next thing, I was wanting to get that date so I can schedule my letters going out in coordination with the cleanup, so they can use our cleanup to clean up. Use the dumpsters, so that's a big thing. Other than that, haven't heard anything on the truck. Talked to them last week, and again, they got the build order, but not the shipping order yet, so as soon as it's scheduled for shipping, they get an email showing that it's scheduled for shipping, so. We've got all the lights and all that
I
stuff.
thought I saw some bills. That
Yeah, except for one light bar, I think, that was backward, the interior light bar that goes across the front. That was backward. I got an email on it Sunday, I believe, that it was shipping out Monday, so. So we should have it this week, and then we should have everything for it, ready to go. Everly did it for us last time, and he said he'd be happy to fit it in as soon as we got our own stuff, so.
good.
So, other than that, I don't have anything. You guys?
Did you get, radios and stuff for that, or we're not trying to like use the old ones out of the car and stuff?
Well, we will on the radios, because the radios we just got.
Yeah.
That's one of those new
But the
things.
brackets and stuff, you're gonna get
We
the
did get,
actual
we got a
brackets.
new console, for it, you know, cause
Yeah.
the car console and the truck console won't be the same.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
So, yeah, we got a new console for it, just like we did in the other one,
Yeah.
same one actually. So, and I really did all that and built the platform for it, cause there's so much space between on the truck, so.
Yeah.
So he did an excellent job of that. He actually put a switch in, so you could change the patterns on the lights and stuff too, so that was pretty handy, so. Yeah, he did a very good job for us. Anything else?
Well, what's the deal on the DNA test for the,
Oh, there's no way that dog's not gonna be a pit bull.
And he knows that, yeah.
Yeah,
I never seen it before, and where he said it was a mutt, I was just trying, if he could get it passed, if it wasn't, then, that's great.
Well, we didn't have that discussion today, when I
Yeah.
talked to him, it was, he knew it was, so.
No, when you called me, you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, right.
That's what he had, and then when
Right.
he came here tonight, and he says, well, I have this.
mud, that's why I
Yeah,
wanted
this
a
mud
photo,
such
I'm like,
and such,
we're calling it
and
a
I'm like,
mud,
what?
but
'Cause I knew you
one
talked
look.
to him today.
Right, to me, that's pit bull. If you go and look at it,
Oh, yeah.
I have to declare that by looks. I don't have that degree, so that's why we tell them to go to the vet, if they really wanna fight it, there is a DNA test that'll prove it. The DNA test is expensive, so.
Yeah.
So,
do you have any idea how expensive they are?
I don't.
Talking
Wasn't it like
100,
5 or 6
500?
Wasn't it like 5 or 600?
I was gonna say, it could be anywhere from 500 to 1,500, I think, to
Yeah.
prove it.
When it Wayne that did,
Wow.
that his dog.
Yeah.
Who did?
Wayne.
Wayne Harrelson.
Oh. I know my niece
Jerry
had
would
hers
probably know
done,
what he paid.
and
Right.
the results were amazing,
Okay,
because this
good
is a
Lord.
big dog, and it has.
And they can,
like a
that can tell you the bloodlines of
Chihuahua.
all the different things that could be in them,
Yeah.
so it's very detailed. So,
$60 and up.
$60 not, okay.
Well, there you
Well-
go. It might not be that
Ask
big a
Google,
deal.
they'll tell you anything.
Oh, yeah.
I was told here a while back
Did you
that
hear me
the
asking it?
vet at Canton was charging like 1,500 to 2,000 to do a DNA test, so. But that's probably doing all kinds of stuff too, along with that, so.
Have them go online and get one.
Anything else?
Well, I don't, I'd really like to be able to make everybody happy all the time, but
Oh,
I really
absolutely.
don't see anything where I or the city council could say, oh, the chief's full of crap, that's a chihuahua.
Right, well, I explained that to him, that why we had the ordinance, and, cause it was presented to us with several signatures and throughout the town that wanted the ordinance, and, thus passed an ordinance saying we couldn't have them, so. You know, and that was been quite a while ago, and I explained to them there's only 2 that are grandfathered in town, and,
They gotta be getting old.
I would say so, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So we've had that ordinance for quite a while now, so, what, 6, 7 years now probably?
I think it's longer than that.
Longer than that?
Yeah,
Yeah, time flies.
yeah, we looked back
So.
when they, and it was longer than that, I don't know.
Now, both of those dogs were pretty well pups when that happened, if
Yeah.
I remember right, but, so,
Well, I guess who's gonna tell poor Jordan? That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
that's up to you guys.
Or do you wanna kick the can on down the road for 30 days?
He just as well
I
knows.
think we might as well tell him now that we're. But I guess that's up to you guys. I don't wanna usurp your powers here. Anybody have any
I go
thoughts?
on Kelly's recommendations, so we'll stay with
Fair and impartial, that's all we can do.
Right.
He's got the option for the test where, you know, he can take the test if he, you know, feels that it's
He
not.
thinks there's a chance that
You
it
know,
will come back
so,
in
you
his
know,
favor.
But, other than that, you know, we gotta kinda go by what Kelly said, you know,
That's my
but
opinion.
that is, you know, his option if he does wanna get that done.
Okay. What's next on the list?
Unfinished business.
Anybody have any unfinished business they'd like to talk about? If you need to think about that some more, let's move to the next. We can revisit that. New business, Relay for Life. I like them. They are such nice people. And they work so hard. And I hate cancer.
Amen.
Edina City Council, attention Mayor David Strickler and members. The Knox County ACS Relay for Life event for 2016 is scheduled for June the 10th. The committee requests permission to hold this event on the town square and block off certain streets, as in past years, at 4 p.m. and have the electrical outlets checked to make sure they are turned on. We appreciate the support we have received from city employees. We also find the dumpster to be a great help to facilitate the removal of the trash which accumulates during the evening. Thank you for your consideration. Signed, Betty Couch, co-chair. God bless Betty. Well, the chair would entertain a motion to allow Relay for Life to block off the streets and have the relay uptown on June the 10th.
Make a motion.
Thank you.
Second it.
Thank you,
Where'd
Mr.
our
Stewart.
motion come from?
For Mr. Lakey.
Okay.
Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All those abstaining, same sign. Nobody wants to vote against the Cancer Society or Betty Couch. So 5 ayes, no nays, no abstentions. And the next item is application for a building permit, Delmer Strange, 503 North Toddy Street. He wants to build a garage, a 24 by 26 garage.
I have to change that, it's probably 28 instead of 6.
24 by 28 garage. KC Builders, date of completion ASAP.
As soon as possible.
And so we're 13, still be 13 foot to the property line.
Yeah, to Cam's house.
Okay. To the property line.
Yes.
But is it gonna be a couple of feet less than that now? Are
No,
you
no,
going-
no, he's going
Going
east
the
and
other
west,
direction?
yeah.
Okay, so it's still gonna be 13 feet from the property
from
Kim.
his house. It's
approximately
3 foot, 2 to 3 foot to the property line.
Oh,
Does Kim know what you're doing?
I was gonna say, oh, that's only like,
Is
So
he,
it ain't gonna be right up against the house.
Kim's okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, that's the main thing.
I don't see any reason.
You got your
It
new
looks
tool belt?
good in the drawing.
You got your new tool belt with a frame and everything?
No. You can bring yours over.
Is it gonna be a log cabin?
No.
Well, I just see wood and shingles as
Right,
materials.
Finished creases.
I didn't work on that one. That's Thad's employer that did that.
Roll fence and.
I make a motion to accept the
Thank you.
building permit.
A building.
Thank you, Mr. Winter.
I
and
will
that's a-
second that.
A second from Mr. Stansberry. No further discussion? Since there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Any abstentions?
That would be
There's
very,
one.
Delmer would
I
be
was gonna say, I didn't see it as an A, and I didn't see it as a nay, so I didn't know if you wanted to be an abstention.
Yeah,
You ought to be in there somewhere. I guess you could
You
just
should
say
be.
present, not voting.
you should be an abstention, I put you down
Okay.
as abstain.
Or you can vote against it if you want.
Yeah, maybe this is Sonia's project.
Fought it long enough, I'm tired of fighting the ice and snow, frost.
Item C, bids for Haydenville City Lake property.
We have none.
That?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to re-advertise, I guess. Have to do it again. Any other new business?
I got something. I was talking, and this summer coming up, where we're gonna be replacing tubes and trying to do some of the streets and everything. I thought to help them out, where depending on what happens with hiring or anything on the 4th again, where they're at 3 guys right now, is the city of Shelbina has every summer they hire about 1 to 3 high school kids. And what they do is a lot of the mowing, weed eating, and stuff. That way the city workers can focus on maintaining, and replacing, projects. So I was just gonna kind of throw that out to you guys and see if maybe that's something that we could think about doing to help our young, give at least one of them a full-time, well, it'd be kind of part-time, they can work up to
Yeah.
31 hours a week. So it'd be something, to try to help out, because there ain't a whole lot of jobs for them around here. So if we can, hire one or so to kind of help out with the mowing, the weed eating and stuff, and that way Ty and them have more time to focus on tubes and the streets and stuff instead of keeping the park mowed.
That's not a bad idea. Who'd you say does that?
City of Shelbina does it.
And
And
after
they've
he
been-
mentioned it, I contacted the city clerk. And yes, they've done it for years, and they've already put their notice in the paper now, and they advertise for anyone for part-time help, but that's usually what they hire is.
They focus towards
Yeah.
the young high school kids to help out.
16, of course, at least,
Yeah.
and,
What about liability?
well, they'd be on workers' comp like anybody. They let them, run mowers, weed eaters, drive a pickup truck if they're licensed, have a regular license. They can do that, like to take the mower from one area to another. They do have them, do a few other small things, but mostly that's
Painting,
summertime.
cleaning,
Right, summertime is what they
anything
focus on.
that a
Summer help
16 or
business.
so-year-old kid can do.
And they usually try to get someone, they said that, might be able to come on the next summer, get them back the next year, get somebody that's just
get the, you know, if we can find a 16 or 17-year-old, you know,
Junior year.
do it this summer, then, you know,
Still
hopefully
do
if
it.
they're, you know, good, then we can use them again next summer, and they kinda already know our setup, so. But, thought it'd be something to kinda, you know, help out the young and.
Good idea.
I like it.
At one time, GAM used to, help pay,
That's what I was thinking, didn't they have a program like that?
that might be something to look into.
Did you ask her that?
What did he say?
Yeah.
GAM.
Pay-wise?
They usually have a
Oh,
program
GAM?
Yeah.
where they pay some
Never-
of the wages.
We've had the GAM program here before.
Like,
It's
years
been a
ago,
while.
and
Sure, he used to do that. I
Well,
don't know if he still does.
they painted the pavilions here 3 or 4 summers ago.
Yeah.
They painted fire hydrants.
Stripe too, didn't they, do
That's-
some parking lot?
Mr.
Yeah, I think they did some
Mr.
striping
LaFrenz,
around.
was that,
What's that?
Mr. LaFrenz, was that the guy that was?
No, Phillips Porter was taking them around at the
oh,
time.
the last,
Yeah.
when the.
That was
We
only.
did some work
Okay,
in the
maybe
lake
I was
too.
thinking 20 years ago.
No, this
That's
is-
been like 4 years
Friend
ago,
was, yeah.
4 or 5 years ago when they did that.
Dayton Grover used to spearhead
Dayton
that
used to.
years and years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may wanna talk to GAM if we can think up a neat little project. They usually just wanna come do a project though,
Yeah,
which I can't
and
blame
with,
them.
with this, why then Ty would actually be in charge, I mean, he
Yeah.
would actually be employed by the city.
Yeah.
And,
I actually had a young gentleman 3 years ago came to me, wanted me
Yeah.
to hire him
yeah,
Again, kinda did some.
for hay production, and I hired him for GAM paid $400
Yeah.
wages.
yeah,
They got people.
Oh, really?
They got people in the courthouse doing it right now
Right.
for 6
Well, they
months,
work
so
all summer.
overtime you got.
Yeah.
yeah.
What it is instead of going through like doing the projects and stuff, if you go to them, then they will find candidates, you know, and put forth.
The only expense you would be out of would be paying Ty an hour a week or 2 hours a week to go through and grade them, so to speak.
Yeah.
I hope there's lots of paperwork, cause Ty loves that.
There's a little bit, but not too much.
Just like I do. Just like we all do. Well, I think that's a good job, or a good idea, and definitely worth looking into. Any other new business, or Alderman's comments, or unfinished business for that matter? Any citizens' comments at this point? If they're
I do.
too late, you had your chance.
I have one.
What is it? What
If
is
you
it?
are a candidate in Knox County and you are gonna be in the municipal election, you have 48 hours to get me your candidate bio.
Oh, and I told them that you would take their picture if.
Less actually, it's like 44 hours now,
You
so
will take their picture.
I will take your picture. If you don't have one, I'll take it. Everyone.
Anybody running for city office, she's, I guess, gonna do a special in the paper next week, and
Don't
she's,
go anywhere.
if you got a
Everybody.
biography,
300 to 500 words.
You want me to write something about
Less
myself?
is more, yes.
That would be.
It's gonna be damn short.
Less is more, I just got done saying that. You know who you are, what you're about, why you're running.
Can we let Brenda write it?
Simple.
Yeah, I'll let Brenda write it and I get fired.
well, do we need to,
Davey, is this your last full meeting?
it is.
Should we sing You're a Jolly Good Fellow or something?
He'll be here next month.
I
We
don't,
can sing
don't,
then.
don't think that's necessary, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Right.
It has been an honor and a privilege to serve the people, and for the most part, it's been, you know, fun and rewarding. There's times where it's just not so much fun, but that's kind of the way life is. You gotta take the good with the bad. I think we're leaving things better than we found them. A lot of things I wish we'd have got done, but it's hard to win them all. Hard to get it all done. Well, if nothing else, we need to look at hiring and firing and disciplining, I'd ask for a vote to close part of this meeting pursuant to Missouri Chapter 610.021, subsection 3, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting of particular employees by a governmental body when personal information about the employee is discussed or recorded. You make a motion? Thank you, Mr. Winter. Thank you, Mr. Stansberry, and as is required, we need a roll call vote. Mr. Winter, Mr. Lickney, Mr. Stansberry, Ms. Cricksizer, and Mr. Terry. We are now in closed session.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I have to have a photo.
But we're gonna take a short break before we go into closed session.
Was we gonna get some feed or
So
something?
we can have a quick smoke. Anybody can go to the bathroom if you wanna go to the bathroom, you know?